It's called struggle area prioritization. This is when you take areas of pieces that you're struggling with and prioritize them first thing of every practice session. Hi guys. So as a beginner, I made a lot of piano mistakes. A lot of these things that I thought would help me actually ended up costing me weeks or even months of progress. I guarantee you that you are making or have made at least one of these, regardless of whether or not you're a beginner or intermediate or advanced. So, without further ado, here are the top 5 piano mistakes that I made as a beginner. Mistake numero uno, not practicing with a metronome.
I don't think anyone could ever think of a more useful tool than this little guy right here.
If there's one takeaway that I want you to get from this video, and this is the most valuable tip I can offer, it's to practice with a metronome. Even the most skilled pianists can get off rhythm or off time occasionally. So how do you think us mere mortals do when we're faced with a piece that has difficult rhythms? The answer is terribly. So until you bite the bullet and listen to that spiky little metronome, thinking it's spiky little rhythms into your ears over and over again, you're just gonna stay playing below your playing potential. Those are just the facts. Mistake number 2, practicing pieces. Now you may be wondering, oh Eddie, how am I going to get better at piano if I never practice any pieces? Well, that's because you're misunderstanding me. Here's what I mean by that. When you practice pieces as a whole instead of practicing parts of the pieces like professionals do, then you're going to find that you learn a lot slower than you actually should. It's called struggle area prioritization. This is when you take areas of pieces that you're struggling with and prioritize them first thing of every practice session. This will ensure that you learn way faster than you would if you just decided to not prioritize areas that you're actually having difficulty with. Anyone and their mother knows that pianists are anything but logical creatures, so I understand if you've never tried this before. But the truth is that this is really important and it really works, so if you're making this mistake, I really encourage you to stop. Mistake number 3, treating the pedal like it's a savior of some sort. I'm sorry to spoil it for you, but it's really not. It may seem like it while you're playing, but the truth is, it just doesn't sound as good as you think it does. That's actually related to the next tip I'm going to give you, but one bit of practical advice that you can instill immediately. Usually when the chord structure changes, you're going to want to find that you actually have to change the pedal too. Otherwise, everything just sounds muddy and like it doesn't have any structure or form to it. This is something super common with beginners, and I actually even see it in myself and people who have been practicing for years and years. It's just something that could really affect you if you're not paying attention to it. To conclude this tip, the pedal can be used as a crutch or a lovely addition to each and every one of your piano performances. I'm hoping you choose the latter because that's where it belongs. Number 4, forgetting to press record. On top of this being a mistake that I have suffered about, 6 or 7 times today with this video, forgetting to press record is a big problem when you're practicing the piano. Subjective experiences will never match up to the objective reality of a recording. Think about it. We've had these devices, I don't actually have mine on me right now, but we've had these devices in our pockets that for 95% of human history haven't been available to musicians. So naturally, it would be a logical step to use these devices to help us improve our piano playing as fast as possible. This was something that I just didn't want to focus on because I was just thinking, oh, well, I'm listening to my pieces as I'm playing them. Why would I ever need something else to record me so I can watch it later? The truth is, though, you're really not listening. You just think that you're listening. When you proceed to look at a recording later, you can pick out all these mistakes and nitpick every little detail. Whereas if you forget to record, then that's just a lost 6, 7, 8 minutes, however long the piece that you're playing was, or your practice session. So, please, remember to press record. Mistake number 5, not getting a piano teacher. Okay, now I know what you're saying. You may not be able to afford one. If you can't, if that's you, that's fine. I understand. But if you can afford one, and over the past couple of days, weeks, or months, you've decided that you might be willing to commit to the piano as a serious hobby, then getting a teacher is really a no-brainer. It's just so important to have that extra expert set of eyes watching your every move. I know that when I got a piano teacher after the first 2 years of somewhat blind and directionless playing that my playing skyrocketed. It was just miraculous. A piano expert who watches you and tutors you will help you see your own mistakes 10 times faster and help you enjoy your piano experience 100 times more. I think that was 10, I think. So find a teacher who you mesh well with, who you get along with well, and go with your piano journey from then. There's really no excuse if you actually enjoy the piano and you can afford it. Oh, and a pro tip, by the way, get one in person, not in virtual. It may be slightly more pricey, but it's really worth it to have a piano teacher who can actually show you in person what to do with your fingers. Okay, this is a bonus tip number 6 for you guys who decided to stick around till the end, because I do really appreciate my loyal audience of 2 people. Learn to improvise. I've said this in probably around 3 or 4 of my recent videos so far. Improvising is really, really important for piano. A big practical reason for this is that, let's say you're performing a piece, you make a mistake, you have to be able to stay on your toes, you have to be familiar with what it is to make a mistake while you're improvising, so that way you can quite literally improvise your way out of the situation, whether it be through purely piano skills or choreography, or if it just helps to have that mental mindset. A really great example of this is Arthur Rubinstein when he's performing the Chopin Second Sonata. I think it's the Second Sonata. He was performing the 3rd movement, and in the middle of it, I think it was an E flat minor, he makes a huge mistake, and he doesn't quite know what to do with it. So what he does is he starts improvising this transition to the next section, because what had happened is he started trying to repeat himself, but realized midway through that he was going to keep on making that same mistake over and over again. So he really quickly improvised his way out of trouble, and he was back in a much slower, calmer section of the piece where he could compose himself and get right back into it. Well guys, I think we're almost done. I really do appreciate you watching till the end. It means more than the world to me to have a small, albeit loyal, group of people that appreciate what I do. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to leave them down in the comments. I'll make sure to get to them. It may take me some time, depending on how many there are, but I'll try my best. And if you know any struggling musicians, pianists, or non-pianists, don't hesitate to share this video with them. These tips, at least except for the pedal tip, I think apply to all musicians, actually. Lastly, if you don't want to miss out on any of my videos, I would appreciate if you could subscribe, so that way you won't miss anything, and that number can make me happier. And that's about it. Bye.